Left of the box. Pierre Poilievre, the most likely next Prime Minister of Canada, is just the worst. Like, he's horrible in so many ways. Not only is he horrible, but he's also pathetic. It's like a competent, if Donald Trump was competent, he'd be the pathetic version of that. If that makes any sense. Because Donald Trump isn't, I wouldn't necessarily say pathetic, but there is something about it. He's definitely not competent. But if he was competent, then, Pierre Poilievre would be the pathetic version of that. Sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. He's such a whiny little Weasley dweeb. He's just a dweeb we'll get to it. So there's a right-wing hate group that I don't even know what the comparison would be in the States, called Diagon, and they're having like some of their protests about the taxes that are going up in Canada, the Axe the Tax protests that are happening. And they are a horrible group. We'll get into it. Anyway, let's start with the article. So, from Press Progress, this is the next Prime Minister of Canada. Pierre Poilievre meets with far-right extremist group at Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. Everyone's happy with what you're doing, Pierre tells conspiratorial fringe group camped out on the side of the highway. So recently, this guy has been endorsed by this guy. Yes, Pierre Poilievre has been endorsed by Alex Jones. And, you can't control who endorses you. He has not condemned that endorsement. He has not said anything about it. He's not said, I don't approve of that. Alex Jones is a horrible person. His conspiracy theories about the Sandy Hook kids has cost, at least one person their life. Because the torment that they were receiving, and he's had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in defamation, and he's like complete conspiracy theory person, and I do not represent people like him. No, he hasn't. He's just totally embraced the endorsement from, well, I wouldn't necessarily he said he's embraced it, but he hasn't acknowledged it one way or the other. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones insists Pierre Poilievre is saying the same things as me, so that would be a red flag. If Alex Jones would be like, that Sandy, she's on board with what I'm saying, I would have to delete my channel. Because there was just something really wrong in the Matrix then. InfoWar host credits Pierre Poilievre for validating his conspiracies about globalist agenda. Huh? What was that about the anti-Semitism we were talking about earlier on the rise? Anyway, that's not the article that I wanted to go over. This is the article I wanted to go over. Canada's leader of the official opposition pulled over on the side of the highway Tuesday evening and paid a surprise visit to a group of far-right extremists who have staged protests at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border for the last 3 years. So this all started with the trucker convoy. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was seen posing for selfies and giving a pep talk to members of the group, which subscribes to a range of fringe conspiracy and extremes views in live stream videos posted on social media. Now, the thing is that this group is really bad, like really bad, and Pierre never condemned them, and then they joked about sexually assaulting his wife. That was a while ago, and now he's out there being buddy-buddy with them again. Oh. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Oh, yeah. The group has been camped out at the border for the last month, purportedly to protest the carbon tax. However, the group is led by the same people who have been protesting the interprovincial border since 2021, originally opposed to the public health orders, the trucker convoy. Poilievre can be seen in the live stream video touring the group's campsite, which consists of several vehicles draped in upside-down maple leaves and Fuck Trudeau flags. I'm not all about decorum, but the Fuck Trudeau flags, if you're going to be the leader of the official opposition, you should say, you know what, that's not appropriate. That's not, like, Trudeau, don't like him, not at all. But that is really inappropriate. Same with this outfit. My God, what is that? I can't click on the pitch. This is like a leather vest inside of a jacket with a t-shirt, just hanging out. Just there's that guy on Twitter that always does that thing with male fashion that for some reason is oddly interesting, even though I don't do male fashion, but there's just something about his tweets that are oddly fascinating and how he breaks down, how things should be tailored and stuff like that. I need him to see this and comment on it. I do. This is just like, what is this? Like this, I think even has a collar or whatever. Zip up leather vest thingy. Anyway, Poilievre and his security detail entered one trailer where a number of groups members have been sleeping and eating food. The side of the trailer displays signatures of far-right influencers associated with the Freedom Convoy and more recent anti-LGBTQ plus protests. One man named Dean is seen opening the trunk of his car to show Poilievre a bundle of blankets and pillows where he sleeps each night. Oh, is that going to be Poilievre's new housing strategy? You close the trunk, Poilievre asks. How do you close the trunk when you're in there? I just put the seats down. Okay, I don't care about this. Oh, I see. Yes, now he's going to take that to heart, and that's going to be the next housing initiative when he becomes prime minister. If you have a car, you have a house. Dean later asks Poilievre if he will pose for photos next to his car draped in Fuck Trudeau flags, and Poilievre suggests they stand in front of something else. What is this outfit? I need to see that Twitter guy comment on this. Oh my God, what is running shoes too? Yes, this trunk here, it's probably bigger than some people's apartments. What is this outfit? Oh, is that a hearse in the background too? Poilievre office did not respond for questions from Press Progress seeking to clarify how the leader of the opposition ended up at an extremist group's campsite in Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. Poilievre posed for photos in the Borden-Cullerton PEI on Tuesday and has another event scheduled in Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia, Wednesday. And this is how he's going to win. Because he desperately is trying to come across as the average guy. I've never seen anyone dressed like this before, let alone somebody who has money. He's a millionaire. Like, again, this guy is a professional politician. He's been in politics his entire life. He got his pension in his early 30s. Like, he's a millionaire. He's a landowner. He's a landlord. But he's playing the populist character, and that's what people want right now. And his dweebness is not enough to overcome the hatred for Justin Trudeau. And yeah, Justin Trudeau is severely unlikable. I don't want the Liberals to lose. The NDP has no chance. Let's face it, doesn't matter who they put in power next time. They have no chance in the next election. Nikki Ashton, Matthew Green, I'm looking at you two. You need to run for leadership. I don't care how, just do it. Either one of them. Amazing leaders. Considering how much worse the Conservative Party is, I don't want them to win, which means the Liberals. If the Liberals want to win, Justin Trudeau needs to step down as leader. And they need to put in somebody other than Chrystia Freeland. Just not her. But because he's going on tour and he's meeting with all these people and stuff, Pierre Poilievre is really coming across to them like he cares when he doesn't. And he's doing all the populist things that this country desperately wants. They desperately want a populist. In a live stream video, Poilievre tells the group he was driving from Prince Edward Island, that's PEI to you Americans, to Nova Scotia when he spotted the group on the side of the highway and asked his chauffeur, just the average guy with the chauffeur, to pull over so he could get out and say hello. Bonjour. We were just going down the highway when we heard about you guys in the news, Poilievre said. We saw you, so I told them to pull over and say hello. One of the group's leaders criticized the negative attention the group has been receiving from the media, prompting Poilievre to reassure them they enjoy wide support. I would play this, but the volume is just non-existent. You don't hear anything they're saying in this video. When he's just basically saying, you are good guys. You're good guys. You far right-wing conspiracy theory group who are just the worst. We'll get into them a bit more. Luckily, Rachel Gilmore, amazing journalist here in Canada, has been following this group for years, and she has a couple quick breakdown videos on them that we'll get to. The person Poilievre was speaking was Thomas Everett of Amherst, Nova Scotia, who has been lead organizer for the protests in Nova Scotia. Okay, I don't think we need all of this, because we'll get to it in some of these breakdowns. Well, the group purports to be concerned about the price of carbon and social media postings by Everett. Yeah, I don't think we need this, because we'll get into, chemtrails is one of their conspiracy theories. Like, come on. The group also appears to endorse more extreme far-right views. Yeah. One of the live stream images show Poilievre standing next to the symbol of the Diagon, an online community revolving around a group of far-right extremists influences the Emergency Act inquiry noted law enforcement view as potentially dangerous organization. Like, these aren't just right-wing organizations. They're borderline terrorist groups that he is getting all cozy with. In 2022, Poilievre sparked controversy after ignoring calls to disavow the support of the online extremist community when he himself took a photo with one of the lead influencers of Diagon, an individual flagged as a threat by national security officials in a counterterrorism report. Yeah, and again, he's going out to these people, saying he agrees with them and that they're the good guys. A month later, RCMP launched a criminal investigation after the same influence later threatened to sexually assault Poilievre's wife. Like, you remember that photo of Ted Cruz phone banking for Donald Trump after Donald Trump said his wife was ugly? And we all thought that was sad and pathetic. Here he is coming out of a trailer of Diagon, that's the symbol there, a group who threatened to sexually assault his wife. And he's cozying up with them. Wow. Says Sebastian, the Conservative leader spokesperson, did not respond to questions from Press Progress inquiring why Poilievre would associate with people who endorse this group. And this is from David Moskrop on Twitter. I feel like Pierre hanging with these bozos in front of Diagon symbol, looking like a strung out Dollarama Neo from Matrix, should be raising a lot of concerns, and should be. I also don't think that Poilievre has security clearance yet either. That hasn't been granted to him. So let's go to this video here. So follow-up, Pierre speaks about the Great Canadian Tax Revolt and tells protesters camping out on the side of the road to keep it up. So this borderline terrorist group, just keep up the good work.
Yeah. You guys get a shower? You guys get a shower?
Yeah, a big shower.
Yeah. This is where I sleep.
I think you're getting a tan, bro. You think getting a tan?
You are getting a tan.
Oh, man.
You're like that guy
Who is this?
I got it right.
Me. Pierre Poilievre. Me. Is it? You?
Yeah. We're gonna axe the tax. A good old-fashioned Canadian tax revolt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brother.
Right on, guys.
Right on.
Keep it.
How can anyone take him seriously when he's dressed like this? Does this give you any sense of confidence in his abilities as a leader? This? You look at this and think, yeah, that's the man to take care of things. With his t-shirt hanging out, trying to do a nice masculine manly pose. Got the fist all clasped. Yeah, pulling.
Put up. And let's bring it home.
So here is Rachel Gilmore, who I was talking about earlier. She has done amazing work on this, just absolutely amazing work. And she is able to sum this up in a way, again, I envy her so much that she can do this. just so quickly and concisely and stuff, because like I've been rambling for almost 3 hours and I'm still not done. But she makes these quick videos that are just packed with information. And, she has been threatened. Her life has basically been put in danger because she has been reporting on this group. And then you have a lot of other media sources now picking up on it, using her work without crediting her. So I'm giving her all the credit she deserves. She deserves so much more credit than she's getting. Please go follow her work. She is just absolutely fantastic. So she says, conservative leader Pierre Poilievre appears to be pandering to extremists and their pals. This time it's darker and more embarrassing than his previous flirtation with the fringe. As someone who has been covering this issue for years, let me break it down exactly why.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre just visited a Freedom Convoy-style encampment in Nova Scotia, where he told the group, quote, "Everyone's happy with what you're doing," and went inside an RV that has a Diagon flag drawn on the side. Yes, this Diagon. Here's what's going on. Yesterday, Poilievre showed up in a live stream from a group that's been protesting at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border since 2021, according to Luc Lebrun of Press Progress. First, they were opposing public health orders, but like many other members of the Freedom Convoy movement have since ballooned into protesting the carbon tax as well as a variety of other conspiratorial grievances. Thanks to the cookie lady on Twitter who first caught this, I got my hands on this live stream. Poilievre basically just glad hands, speaks in slogans, and takes some pictures. Very normal, human pictures. Here's a key moment from that live stream. He also goes into this RV where this is painted on the side. This is the flag representing Diagon, and it's wild to see Poilievre standing so close to it because of what these dudes stand for, which I've reported on at length, but includes them live streaming themselves laughing at people in India being brutally killed by trains.
Make sure you clip this one so you can watch me laugh at Indians getting run over by fucking trains.
Because I reported on this, they said they would laugh if I was sexually assaulted to death.
If you got gang raped to death by Indian migrants in the street, I would laugh. I wouldn't even stop them.
They've done interviews with literal neo-Nazis and even threatened to assault Pierre Poilievre's wife. Despite that, Poilievre is pandering to folks who apparently travel in these same circles, or at least did at one.
The fact that any politician in this country can get away rubbing shoulders with these people is outrageous. There should be so much condemnation from his own party, from the Liberals, from the NDP, like everyone needs to be speaking out against this. Like if the National Terrorist Watch people are looking at Diagon like, we're concerned about them, and he's cozying up to them, huge red flags. You just take the Canada flag and you see where that white is. You use the fill option on Photoshop and you click fill with red. And then that's kind of the flag that should be flying above him right now.
One point, if this truck is any indication. Even with these efforts, the Diagon dudes don't like Poilievre. They're memeing and laughing at him right now. A little advice, Poilievre? They're not going to pick you. At least not right now. More on that in a sec. I reached out to the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, who told me Poilievre's support for this encampment is embarrassing and alarming, and he should answer for this. As for Poilievre, his team did not reply to my request for comment, but sent this to CBC.
As vocal opponents of Justin Trudeau's pushing carbon tax, which has driven up the cost of groceries, gas, heating, he made a brief impromptu stop, he said. If Justin Trudeau is concerned about extremism, he should look at parades on Canadian streets openly celebrating Hamas' slaughter of Jews on October 7th. That's the statement.
And while Diagon is currently distancing themselves from Poilievre, who is terrible for their anti-establishment street cred, it's worth re-upping this clip I found in 2022 in which Diagon discuss using Poilievre to forward their agenda.
You can make him do things because he's a weasel.
So the group he's cozying up to is blatantly, obviously saying, we are using you as a puppet. Now go bend over so we can shove our hands up your ass and play you around. Like, it's just, wow. The amount of self-degradation that it would take to be seen with them, to pander for some far-right votes. Like, is he trying to stir up a revolt here? Like, try to get the same rabid base that, Trump has in the States where, there's threats that should he lose or should he win even, that there's going to be violence? Like, is that what Pierre is after? To have, like, unofficial armies, militias ready to serve at his whim? Like, this is just so disgusting. He would let himself be used like this. He is so pathetic. Like, I don't know how much more pathetic you can get than him. And he still stands a chance, a good chance. In fact, he probably will be the next prime minister of this country. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
That's what's kind of interesting about it.
Yep.
So this is where we're at, Canada. What do you think of all this?
So this is from Socialist Anti-Fascist Fox on Twitter. And just some more of this. So their fascism is fast becoming undeniable. People are waking up slowly. The comfortable are becoming less so. The old world is dying. The new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. If I must become one to create the world without them, I gladly accept. Here's some of the new video of Poilievre visits to the fringy far-right group's campsite with better audio quality. At one point, a protester claims the RCMP are giving them a lot of support, to which Poilievre replies by validating this idea. They're all on side. We've seen plenty of times when law enforcement tends to be on side with right-wing agendas, whether it's the Freedom Convoy or, protecting their own after they murder people and things of that sort. They never seem to have a problem with the anti-vaxxer marches, but the pro-Palestinian marches, they had problems with. To have him also acknowledge, it's like the RCMP, law enforcement, shouldn't be on a side. They should just be enforcing the law equally across the board, no matter who you are, which of course is not the case and never has been the case. But, in an idealized world, that's what law enforcement would be. But since that isn't going to happen, we just need to get rid of it all. Just defund, dismantle, and reinvent. So let's see what this dweeb has to say.
We have been getting a lot of support, even from the police. They see us, they drive by, they wave and smile. And yeah, honestly,
Cops are good folks.
it's been amazing, really.
Yeah, cops are good folks. We went over a story about good folk cops earlier. So this is another video from Rachel Gilmore. I haven't actually seen it yet because this popped into my feed right before I started, but it sounds important. So the encampment Pierre Poilievre visited had closer ties to Diagon than anyone had previously reported. I've got the proof, so it might be time to walk back some op-eds and hot takes. Here's what's going on.
Do I ever have an update for you? 2 days ago, Pierre Poilievre visited a Freedom Convoy-style encampment, where, as I reported in yesterday's video, he glad-handed people flying F. Trudeau flags and told them everyone is happy with what they're doing. He also hung out in an RV that had a Diagon flag drawn on the side. The far-right extremists I've reported on at length, including them laughing on a live stream at people in India being brutally killed by trains, interviewing actual neo-Nazis, and much, much more. Anyways, in the 24 hours since, a lot of people have tried to diminish this, saying things like, hey, it's just a whittle squibble.
National Post, very much a right-wing rag. It's just, they're so right-wing on the National Post, it's ridiculous that they're a national paper. Just absolutely, they should not be a legit media source at this point with all the Zionist, homophobic, transphobic rhetoric that they put out there. It's, yeah.
Who cares? But I did a little more digging, and it looks like the ties between Diagon and the merry little gathering Poilievre visited go deeper than that scribble. Take, for example, this woman who was live streaming and posting from the encampment within the last handful of days. This is her previous cover photo. I'm sorry, what does that say on her hoodie? Oh, and I recognize that guy. That's Jeremy Mackenzie, the leader of Diagon. She liked this photo so much, she posted it multiple times. Oh, and here, right here, in this post where the guy who filmed Poilievre on site is making it very clear they have nothing to do with Diagon, he tagged his buddy Sam. This Sam, who said, Pierre Poilievre, thanks for stopping by my trailer, and clarifies he does not enjoy the Diagon Leaders podcast, the one he knew by name. But Sam, did you forget you posted this? There's that Diagon hoodie again. And what's that caption? Oh, it's you tagging Jeremy McKenzie saying this person is keeping you fed and ready for action. Once again, here is that same guy live streaming from that border site. So did Poilievre know he was visiting an encampment with ties to Diagon? Not necessarily, no. But even though
You know, that's the thing. You might not know that the table that you just went and sat down on is full of Nazis, but as soon as you see them, flip over the plate and you see the swastika, you should probably leave. I guarantee you Pierre Poilievre knows what the Diagon flag looks like. To see it then still walk into the RV? Like, it's okay to stop by a group of protesters and be like, oh yeah, axe attacks. Okay, yeah, that seems, something that he can get behind. But then as soon as they start with this other bullshit, he needs to walk away. Or else it's basically an endorsement.
Diagon hate Poilievre. Its leader threatened to assault Poilievre's wife, and they mock him regularly. He's still pandering to folks who travel in the same circles. And I just gave you even more proof of that. So feel free to correct your op-eds and hot takes about this little scribble. What do you think of all this?
I think Pierre Poilievre is a dweeb. A pathetic dweeb. Who's most likely going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. I am begging the Liberal Party to kick Justin Trudeau out of leadership and put somebody else there, just not Chrystia Freeland. I don't want the Liberals to win. I don't want the Conservatives to win, but the NDP, they're so far from any potential of winning. It's like I'm choosing the least worst option.